What's going on, Cowboys Nation? That's right. How about them boys? You're watching Cowboys Cutting Up, another episode. I'm Jay Stoggs. Of course, I'm joined with Trey, big guy Trey. And you can hit him at Trey3025. And the man, Big Game James, former professional football player. You can hit him up at JCan97. We're here talking Cowboys. You know, it's slow right now, but it's okay because the Cowboys are always in the news. There's always something going on with them that we can talk about, obsess about. I think that's a better word for it, being obsessive about things. So today what we're going to talk about is, you know, they've already gone through OTAs, starting to gear up for Oxnard, you know, starting to get ready for that, and position battles. And there are some, even though there was a little bit of free agency work that was done by the Cowboys, I guess they figured that they were where they needed to be with the players they had. Weird because they didn't go very far. But here we are, you know, so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the players or positions that definitely will have some battles going in there. How's everybody doing, though, starting off?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that y'all let this old football guy bum rush the show and talk
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys with y'all a little bit tonight, man.
Thanks for coming back, man. We know last week you were, you know, like, look, let y'all Cowboys do this. But, you know, it's always good to have a good expert opinion in there. But how you doing, Trey?
Man, I'm trying to dodge some fires down here in San Antonio. I know we're a Cowboys podcast, but people down here in San Antonio are pissed off for the DeJounte Murray trade today, and I'm just here for it. I'm just laughing at the Spurs. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm good, man.
I'm very yeah, I'm kind of surprised at that. And that was kind of surprising to see that they would do that. I thought that was definitely going to be a building block for the Spurs.
They
but
traded
I
Murray?
guess,
I missed that. I was working all day.
Traded Murray for nothing.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
The three first round picks for like 2027. It's like, seriously? So,
well, at least they have something to look forward to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Never
went down here. Sure. In Pop we trust. I'm like, okay, whatever. You guys on retirement.
It may be time. It may be time. You know, the game does start to pass people by. So, yeah, you can definitely check us out. You know, we'll talk about that on Big Game Sports Buzz Thursdays 8 p.m. or even the Chop Shop on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. You can check us out on there. ASAP, All Sports, All Plays Network. And, of course, you can like, subscribe, hit the bell, tackle that thing so you know when Big Game Sports Buzz is coming on or Cowboys Cutting Up or the Chop Shop. So we always love your comments. Make sure that you do comment. We'd love to read what you got to say, especially about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And I know Big Game loves it when I say that because it's true. All right, so let's jump into this thing.
Ain't no America like South America, baby.
Sometimes I feel like that's where the team is.
Man.
Oh gosh, because they just anyway. So let's start here where the ball is hiked, the battle at center. There definitely should be, and there will be a battle there between Tyler Biadasz, Matt Farniok, and Alec Lindstrom. Now, I'm going to tell you from my point of view, I'm actually want to see Alec Lindstrom in the preseason more than anything else. I think Tyler Biadasz at the end of the season came on, but that's like the last 2 or 3 games, you know, maybe for the first part, definitely the first half, 3/4 of the season, it was like it was a poop show. It was just bad. So that's definitely one of the battles I want to see as far as an unsigned rookie in Alec Lindstrom versus Tyler Biadasz. I don't think Matt Farniok is going to really do much, but, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
They don't even have Lindstrom on the depth chart right here, man.
It should be there.
That's going to be – that says a lot of a guy that's not even on your depth chart right now is threatening to take your job.
I mean, who else you got though? Like I said, I know you got Tyler, but he has been just god awful, god awful, and you can't have a bad center. You can't have a bad center.
No, you can't afford to have that. That's the most vocal leader and part of your offensive line, and he helps the team go. So without that, it's something you don't want. Well, I've played against bad centers, and I just want to say thank you to all of them for making me look a lot better than I probably was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
You need that piece, and that's one piece that we all knew when Rob Frederick decided to retire early. That was a serious hole to fill, because it's not like you
Right.
lose the anchor of your line, but not just that. He was solid. He was great at calling out the Mike linebacker, help picking up blitzes, and he ran things, and he took a lot of the pressure off of Dak Prescott at the quarterback position because of what he could do up front. And I don't know if you're getting the same thing, with Biotic right now.
Would you say that the center position is probably the smartest person on the field?
Yes.
That's what every center would tell you. They definitely would. Every center definitely would tell you that. I don't dispute it. I say that's the smart. Normally that's the smartest position on the offensive line, or basically, and that's because they have to do more multitasking than anything. You got to identify the blitz. You got to be able to hear the audible. You got to be able to pass signals on to the other linemen to make sure they get it, and make sure that guard gets it so that tackle out on the edge can get it. You got to double team. You got to fold. You got to slide. You got to chip. It's a lot that goes on, man. And I tip my hat to that position, because it's funny. I know I had a coach in college that tried every year. He's like, man, I'm going to get you to go play offensive line. I said, not to this school, you're not. And he was like, man, you'll be a great center. You'll be a great center. And I was just like, yeah, I'm a meathead, dog. I don't like to think that much. I just want to pin my ears back and get after it.
I want to go hit somebody. Hit somebody. But yeah, so I mean, I agree with everything you said. It's going to be interesting to see if they do push for him. But Tyler's been here. This will be his third season. He's going to have to get after it. He's just going to have to do it. Let's looking at another position, the linebacker opposite Michael Parsons. Leighton Vander Esch was re-signed for 1 year instead of picking up his option.
Right.
But you have Jabril. Yeah, I know. I mean, this is a new Sean Lee, in my opinion. But you also have Jabril Cox, who's coming off of knee surgery. And I believe it's ACL surgery is what he had. And I like Jabril Cox. I really like him before he went down. Even to the point where they had him playing when Smith was out, right? Jalen Smith was out. It's unfortunate because I don't know how he bounces back from this knee injury.
That's inevitable. I mean, you never really know, and it's hard to figure that out. You know what I mean? It's a crapshoot. You pray that everything's gonna be fine. You hope that he bounces back fine, and you'll know once training camp starts, and it needs to be evaluated early. That way, if they know if they need to go get a free agent to come in and play or really contend, or let him go. But I think he's gonna be fine. He's young enough. Had the surgery. The surgery's not what it used to be a long time ago. It's minimally invasive the way they cut you compared to, how they gashed the hell out of your knee a long time ago to repair it. So I think it'll be okay.
All right. So in this instance, who would you rather see there in that position? You have Vander Esch with the experience, but you also have Jabril Cox, who, for all intents and purposes, has the ability, the physicality of it. I think that's really the question there.
I kind of want Vander Esch. The reason is
Vander Esch?
Remember, he is a Sean Lee 2.0, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
but he is on a 1-year deal. And so that means it's a contract year, and which means he needs to step up, which I think that's going to help him in the Cowboys defense and take the load off of Michael Parsons out a lot, which he's going to need to. I mean, we've seen in his rookie year how good playing six-man football in high school, how he can make open field. Hell, we saw in San Francisco in divisional in the wild card round whenever he stopped it on the pivotal fourth down play where and that basically saved him from getting a contract with the Dallas Cowboys, I do in my estimation. He can make open field tackles if he can just stay healthy. The burden isn't on him to carry the load on the defense like it was his rookie and sophomore year. That's on Michael Parsons right now. And I think having a 1-year deal, I think he's betting on himself this year and saying I think he's going to look for a big contract. And I think that's exactly what you're going to see. Cox, like you said, AC, he's going to come back. But at the same time, we all know, he's going to come back, but it's a 2-year injury because you got to get the feel, you got to get comfortable with it. That's about 1 year. And it's probably later in the season where you're going to fully feel confident in that knee. You just ask Cooper Kupp and everyone else who had an ACL tear. So just saying that, I think I would rather have Van Der Esch this year and then see what happens.
That's a good point. Great points there. So, we'll keep a lookout on that, especially in Oxnard between that battle. I think it's going to be a really good one. Yeah. Moving on. So, obviously, Gregory is gone. Everyone knows that. So the person that's going to, the Tank Lawrence's buddy on the other side, you got Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler Jr., and Sam Williams. Possibly that could be, in the battle for that defensive end.
Isn't Williams the rookie from Ole Miss?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly, looking at his college highlight film, man, if he can carry that speed and dominate that edge in the NFL like he was able to do, they actually lucked up with a great second-round draft pick and won't miss Randy Gregory.
Isn't that what I said a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know.
I've slept since then. Trey, don't do that. Don't as Big Game would tell me, don't be that guy, Trey. Don't be that guy.
Stoggs is always that guy. He's that I told you so guy. He loves to be the I told you so.
Told you so guy.
But Williams brings an element to the field that is hard to mimic and mirror. He has that with the Scouts of the Kyle, that high motor. And so he has a gear that he hits and he doesn't stop. It's like constant pursuit after the play. And he's getting a lot of high praise like Parsons did last year. Now, is he Michael Parsons? Can you really replicate that? Not to, I don't think, that extent, but it's enough to be excited about seeing what he can do and knowing that you kind of botched the Gregory thing from the Cowboys standpoint.
Yeah, true that. Elijah Smith, hey, appreciate you being here. You know what I'm saying? Oxnard, embrace the Cowboys, great environment. I was kind of sad that they moved it so many years ago from Wichita Falls, but Oxnard, absolutely. I've yet to have the opportunity to go out there when they were out there, but I do know that Oxnard, California is an awesome place.
I was upset when they moved it from San Antonio.
So
why don't they alternate anymore? They used to go every other year. Why'd they quit alternating San Antonio and Oxnard?
Because Jerry Jones is, how he is. He likes the limelight. He likes LA. He likes all this thing. He wants it out in California. That's what he wants.
Close to LA.
Yeah. And he wants it away from his family, and he says it's a team building because you're away from your family, you're away from everybody else, and it's you and your team. It's bull.
Wise wasn't driving down to San Antonio. So I had somebody hit me on Twitter and ask me, and it's funny. It's like, hey, you live in Texas. Why do the Cowboys do training camp in California? I'm like, I don't work for the Cowboys, nor did I play for them. I have no idea why they run training camp. Is there a backstory that you Cowboys fans can tell me to why?
There's a lot of fans back there, and before LA got a team, a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans, especially in that area, and Jerry Jones is one. There is no.
No, I get it. That's part of the America's team thing, huh, Jay Stocks? America's team, you take it all the way out to the best coast and love it, and then bring it back.
I honestly think it's this. I think Jerry Jones just doesn't want another team in Texas and him bringing to San Antonio or somewhere or Austin for I mean, because they did have it in Austin a couple times too, way back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
It's generating excitement for hey, we can support a team here. And Gary wants all that attention away because hell, he doesn't want a second team in Dallas, let alone because if he comes down south, you're taking away a lot of Dallas Cowboy fan base. I mean, it's always going to be Dallas Cowboys team, but if you bring San Antonio in, they start winning games and winning playoff games, you're losing Dallas Cowboy fans.
Got it. Gotcha.
I mean, the argument, obviously with the Oilers and now the Texans, they thought that, since, they moved to Tennessee and Houston didn't really have a team for a hot second there, that they were going to, all gravitate towards being Cowboys fans. And we know that not to be true. So I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where he wanted to be closer to Hollywood and wanted to be closer to that environment. And, maybe the environment was just better as far as weather because it's hot as Hades here. There's this thing called a heat dome.
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard of this.
They play in the air conditioning at home.
Okay.
They can practice in the AC too. That's
they can go to the Star. But you know what? That's too easy, though. You want to get away from family. Like Trey said, you want to get away from, like you said, you want to get away from family. You want to be focused on the team and what you're doing. And you can't do that at the house.
You know what I hated the most about training camp, man?
What's that?
Was the mattress they gave us in those dorm rooms.
You got the same mattress as the kids.
My rookie year, I didn't realize how bad it was. To my second year, and there on out the rest of my time, I would go get egg crates, mattress covers. By the time I put all the stuff on the bed, my sheet could barely get on there. And then,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, then you figured out how to take the two twin beds and put them together, make you one big giant bed, or have the bring your mattress from. Go get your mattress and bring the full queen size mattress in and put it on there and cover it up so you can sleep good. And you do a lot of sleeping between practices and meetings, that's for sure.
Man, I'm saying. Go ahead, Trey. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but these Dallas Cowboys are staying in houses with big king size beds.
I'm not sorry you had to go through.
They got Airbnbs for training camp?
Because I saw a video of Dak Prescott riding his bike from training camp to his house, like a miniature little house that they have over there in Oxnard. It's a little
Dallas Cowboys bougie. So they probably do have houses on the beach and stuff.
We're America's team.
Oxnard, if you're Jerry Jones, wouldn't you want to change it up? It hasn't been working for 27 years. I mean, something we got to change something up. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, come down to Junction, Texas, where there's a
Junction Boys.
Junction Boys. We got the dorm rooms that you're talking about, and let them just more practice together. But hey.
But like Elijah Smith said it best on there in this quote, it's not going to happen. But it's really a money thing, and people in California love the Cowboys and the Raiders. It's almost like there's more Cowboys fans than 49. Well, I'm not going to say that because everybody in the Bay Area will jump me when I go back. But in Southern California, the influx of Dallas Cowboys fans is ridiculous. It's huge. And you see the big presence. Yeah. And Jerry does that to keep that fan base motivated and excited and keep them drinking the Kool-Aid that it's America's team and they haven't won a game and that means anything in a long time.
Look, man, the Kool-Aid is not very sugary. All right. It's kind of weak. So it's still America's team. It's what it is. The Patriots tried to take that moniker and we're like, no, it doesn't work that way. And though they've won, they are not. No, you can have the Patriot way, but it won't ever be America's team. But circling back, we're talking about the defensive end. We're talking about defensive end taking Randy Gregory's spot. I actually like Dorrance Armstrong. He's been steadfast. He's been doing the work. Solid.
Was Armstrong hurt last year? Was it a knee he hurt last year? I think of someone else.
I don't think so. I don't think he really got banged up. He was just
one
just
of the
a
young
really
D
solid-
linemen got banged up last year. I don't know if it was Armstrong or not, but if it is, if Armstrong's the one I'm thinking about, Jay.
Man, I already put it in my memory. Last year sucked. It's already back. I don't even care about it anymore.
That's true. I mean, I got you.
I'm moving on.
I wouldn't want to remember Deebo Samuel running all over me either.
Wow, that's what we're doing. Okay, all right.
Trey said it, Jay Stocks, not me.
Hey,
he said he's forgetting what.
No,
I want to forget Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald smacking, people on my team too. So trust me, you're not alone in this.
The way.
I have bad memories of last year as well.
I was curious though, and I know why they did it with Dante Fowler Jr. To reunite with Quinn, but I didn't get that signing at all, other than that connection. To maybe try and get one last good year out of him, maybe two, to be a bridge or something. But
well, Fowler was a decent pass rusher before the injuries. From Jacksonville to LA to Dallas, so he's had glimpses of being able to put pressure on and get after the quarterback. And I think that's just something you need. Like if you get him on the field in third down situations, you can still now you don't have to blitz Parsons or put him down on the edge to rush. He can cover because he covers damn good. You almost take him out and put him on the slot receiver from the linebacker position without having to bring a nickel back in. Or if you do bring a nickel in, you take the other weakest linebacker out, and you got some guys that come in. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It just depends on what you get from them. And I know there's a big game. Everybody says that. But no, Fowler has shown the ability to rush before. And I know a lot of people in Atlanta, Big Low Country, Smitty from Smitty Sports Machine, early on when Fowler first got there, they thought they hit the jackpot because they thought they were going to get that same dude that, they had before. And it wasn't really.
It didn't really turn out that way. And that's the thing that scares me, is that we'll pay for veterans like this. And no, we didn't pay a lot for them, but it's just the fact that, there are some talented players that are out there that we just refuse to take for whatever reason, and we'll sign guys like this. So I don't know. I hope obviously I hope it works out. I just don't see him as the starter. I would probably look at Armstrong as that DN starter day one, because he's been the backup. He's been there. He's been solid. And, he's been in that situation. He's been with Quinn. So, he's not old. He was drafted in 2018, so not bad there.
Okay.
Moving on. Cornerback. The cornerback position opposite Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs, that's his.
That's solidified. There's no competition over there. That
is solidified. Right.
Someone's planning to be his
all
backup.
The people that say, well, look at, it's like, well, for all the, great plays or interceptions, look how many, yards they racked up on him. And look, the dude had 7 interceptions last season. There are cornerbacks that have played their whole careers who have not even sniffed 7 interceptions their whole career. So,
Jay Stocks, you know what I say to that?
Season, what's that?
I say that's the same thing they try to say about Jalen Ramsey also, but he still praised as being so aggressive, right? He's given up a lot of big plays.
Absolutely.
But he's made a lot of great ones. And I think Diggs is that guy for Dallas, to where I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
You saw glimpses with Newman way back in the day. But everybody's trying to go back to that Deion Sanders, mystique, right? Yeah. Like, now you got a guy that's ball hawking back in the secondary. And so you love to see it. But from a defensive guy and hearing, knowing how defensive players are called sometimes, a corner that has has a lot of interceptions takes a lot of chances. And you just and so when you take those chances, you're going to give up big plays and you're going to get beat sometimes. But I wouldn't change anything about the way Diggs plays, because I like his aggression in the secondary.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And so now you have Trayvon Diggs on one side. The other side, now you look at Anthony Brown or Joseph, but Joseph has, of course, some legal issues that are out there that he's going to have to kind of figure out.
Boy, how you get in that trouble, man?
Man, that's bad trouble. I don't know.
At some point in time, you got to grow up, man.
And we talked about this on the show. You know, we talked about this on Big Game Sports Buzz, where you have to let those elements ride out away from you.
Yeah.
You talked about that, where it's like, look, my man, I've got something bigger going on than this situation right here.
I can't be at the club with people carrying heat that's more than likely gonna get out the car and shoot at other people, or drive up on the side of other people and let it and let it pop off. I'm so sorry.
You're in a new tax bracket. Things are different here.
Right.
Things are different here. And I think that's the other part of that. But I think what's really going to be interesting to watch is whatever happens with Joseph until he's off the field. He's on the field. You have Anthony Brown, who again solid, opposite Trayvon Diggs, made some plays that were questionable, but again, they're young. The secondary is young.
4 PIs in one game, right? That's Brown.
Yeah,
that was
a couple of them were PIs. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the fact that
okay.
If it's close, they're gonna call it. If you close, if it even kind of, if you call, I mean, and that's what they do to the Cowboys. If you kind of close, they're gonna call it. They're gonna throw the flag. They're getting hypersensitive, especially when it comes to cornerbacks and all the hand jockeying and hand fighting. And if you're on the defensive side of it, they're gonna throw the flag. So, you got to get better at it. But yeah, what I'm interested to see is this battle and then the safety position, because I think it's really going to work tandem with this. Because if Diggs can shut down a side of the field, right, with his ball hawking skills, then you have the other corner the corner and the safety that's going to have to work together to shut down the other half. So, I don't know. That's kind of my 2 cents and my thoughts on that. Trey, you got anything for that, or?
No, I just think the safety position is our biggest key right now because like you said, we need someone to back up Trayvon because he does make those chances, and you just need someone to make sure that he's in the right coverage, because that's been a big problem a lot of times is the safety was not in the right coverage. He was on the one side or the other. But if Trayvon Diggs can work on that part of his game where he can shut down one side of the field, then you have the safety help with Anthony Brown, which I think Anthony Brown's going to have a hell of a comeback season this year. I think with Trayvon, see what Trayvon Diggs did last year, and then you put it in with the defensive coordinator that we have. I forgot his name for a second.
Quinn?
Quinn.
Sorry, it's been a long day.
Mighty Quinn.
Yeah.
Quinn. So put it in with Quinn. I just think that the defense, I think the secondary, like you said, is very, very young. If Joseph can get his single back, because we don't know, Joseph might be suspended for how many games? I mean, I know the whole world's focused on Deshaun Watson right now, but Joseph still has to face up to punishment. We all seen that Roger Goodell is no big fan of the Dallas Cowboys. He'll give a big season suspension right when the Cowboys are hot, like Ezekiel Elliott. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, don't be surprised if it's between 4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 6 games. Don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens that way.
If it is 4 to 6, don't appeal it. Just serve it like Ezekiel Elliott did. Ezekiel Elliott kept appealing. Like, just serve it, dude. Like, whatever.
Yeah. And then another name too that's been cropping up is Nahshon Wright, in that spot. And so, again, flashes, glimpses, but really just have to see what, again, I think the safety does and what happens there. Another spot that's going to be very interesting to watch is the third receiver. Now, in the interim, it will be the second receiver. Because as we know, the second receiver, Gallup, will be out for basically the first third of the season at least, right, with this knee injury that he's recovering from this knee injury. So, James Washington, Simi Fehoko, and Jalen Tolbert. And right now, indications are that Tolbert has really stepped up and has been doing some really awesome stuff. Like, everyone's buzzing about him in camp. And so between him and Washington, I think that's where the real battle is going to be.
I think Tolbert was a steal. I think Tolbert was a steal for the Cowboys, Jay. And everyone's so high on him and speaking so well on him. He might end up being your number 2, depending on what your favorite receiver does when he comes back from his injury.
And they're saying that he's kind of like a Michael Gallup anyway, like a younger Michael Gallup.
All right. Gallup's not old, is he? What is this, year 4 for Gallup? Year 3? 4?
Yeah, 4.
Okay.
Year 4 for Gallup, but as we have seen, Gallup is IP, injury prone.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to Gallup's going into his 5th year this year.
Yeah. So
okay.
I know they signed a contract, but hey, you know how the Cowboys do with contracts. They'll cut you, take the dead cap money for that year, and move on.
You asked me the question last week, receivers who are still in the free agent market or whatever, trade value-wise.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm calling Seattle.
DK?
I want DK.
That's not going to happen.
But I'm just saying, you get DK, you get the pressures off CeeDee Lamb. You let Gallup come in full as a third wide receiver. There's no pressure on him to come and save the Dallas Cowboys wide receiving core. Let's face it, CeeDee Lamb's going to see double coverage and make these other wide receivers prove something with Gallup. I mean, they say Gallup's probably going to be back by week 2, week 3, whatever. I don't believe he's not going to be fully back until later in the season. Who knows where the Cowboy season is going to be at that time? I would definitely see what the asking price is for DK. Maybe trading Ezekiel Elliott for him, expiring contract for DK Metcalf. I'm just saying, maybe I would call. I would.
You have a better chance of calling Tyrone than calling Seattle.
But I mean, the name we're not talking about is Vasher.
That's true.
I think Vasher, before he got knee hurt, I mean, he's coming off a knee injury too as well. He sat out a whole year and was in the wide receiving room as well with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and all those.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have to be DK. It could be somebody else. It could be call like one of these like veteran guys.
Would you take Tyler Lockett from Seattle?
Oh yeah, I would.
No.
Yes, I would.
No.
And he bought a house in Prosper too.
Why would you not take Lockett? I want to know why.
I wouldn't take Tyler Lockett mainly because he's a short receiver, number 1. Number 2, I wouldn't take Tyler Lockett because he has not, to me, shown that he can be available the whole season. I'm not calling him injury prone, but I'm not going to call him a receiver that stays healthy throughout the whole season.
We don't need him to be fully healthy. We need him for like 2-3 games that we like one of the receivers are not. That's just my personal opinion.
Oh, no.
You think we need him for 13 games?
Every game. Because CeeDee Lamb will shrink under double coverage.
Oh, yeah. He's a terrible route runner.
And so, absolutely. So, if he... if you double him over with a safety and now you have Lockett, if he can't get off or he's not available, we're back in the same situation that we were in, just worse because we've given up whatever we've given up to get Lockett. So Lockett to me isn't worth, going out and pursuing him. DK Metcalf, absolutely. Whatever it takes, you get him. That's the guy. He's tall, he's strong, he's fast. He presents a presence. If you double CeeDee Lamb, you got a problem. If you double DK, you got a problem.
Odell Beckham still had this on.
Nah, I'm good. Nah. Mm-mm.
What? Odell couldn't change the nature of the Cowboys receiver room? I
don't think so.
Well, I will say this. If you would have asked me this last year when he was with the Cleveland Browns, I would have said, no way in hell. But he proved that when he went to the Rams and their winning culture and all he wanted to do was win, you didn't hear a word from Odell Beckham Jr. He was actually kind of a leader in that receiving core with Coop. So, but he ain't coming to Dallas. Why are we playing that? I mean, there's no way. He was a Giant. He's not going.
Well, even if he did come to Dallas, though, even being a Giant, I think the other part of it is the mentality may change now that he's looking in that receiver room. And when he was in L.A., it was like you had Deshaun Jackson at the time. You had Cooper Kupp. Like, you had receivers established there, right?
But he didn't have Deshaun. I think you're thinking of Robert Woods.
Deshaun was there for a hot second, and then he was traded.
Yeah, he went from Rams to the Raiders.
Yeah, he was there for a hot second.
Right. Odell came after he was traded.
Oh, that's right. I take that back. Yeah, you're right. I apologize. But my point is that when he went there, he looked around the room and said, "Okay, I'm not the number one guy here, so I'm gonna take this back seat." You come to Dallas, and he looks at CeeDee Lamb and says, "Okay, all right, you're the number one guy. Let's see about that." And I'm not saying he can't push him and make him better, but I think that.
Talking about Odell, he's also coming off an ACL tear as well. So and he's been injury prone too. I mean, let's just be straight up on it. He's been injury prone. I don't know how much of that is because he's with a crappy New York Giants team and a Cleveland Browns team that weren't going to do anything. But right. I mean, he has known some injuries. I would just see what DK's worth. Like, what's your asking price for DK? Yeah. Because you're telling me you wouldn't trade Ezekiel Elliott's contract for DK?
I would do that. I would do
Jerry Jones. I mean, you have a polished, good running back right now who's only making like $950,000 a year, who's probably better than Ezekiel. And we saw this offense was a lot better when Tony Pollard was in than Ezekiel. And let's face it, Zeke is no longer young. He's getting old. This is time for him and Dak to show up or shut up. I mean, this is it.
But that's more play calling, in my opinion, when it comes to Zeke. In that, come on!
You 1 yard rush. He said he usually breaks for tackles. He's not getting it. I know he had
no. Crappy line, crappy play calls. You knew exactly what they were going to call. My 6-year-old who plays Madden would say, "Oh, they're going to run it up the middle. Watch." Because that's what they do in the game, Dad. It's like, dude, they know what they're going to run. And what other? They never ran Zeke outside the tackles. Ran Zeke outside the tackles.
Kellen Moore was rated the number 2 offensive caller in the league. All right,
Stop it. I wish I had my soundboard. Stop it. Stop it. Okay.
I'm being silly. I thought that was
they never ran him outside the tackle, so that was the problem. But yeah, I even as much as I like Zeke here in Dallas, I make that trade yesterday. Zeke for probably a first rounder because more than likely will be in the lower half or lower third of drafting, right? Of the draft picks. So go ahead and make that trade for DK.
If I'm just saying Seattle probably do because they're rebuilding anyway, and Zeke's expiring. I'm thinking NBA terms since it's free agency, expiring contract. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And they never had a running game anyway. So.
Give him a running back. Give him a first and a third, and let's keep going. Let's move on, right? You got Pollard. You have what's the other kid the running back that they're high on right now?
Clemens.
Who is it?
Clemens.
Yeah, put him in there. And so, to me, that's a win-win, right? That's a win-win. Dak will get over it. I know that's his best friend, but whatever, they don't hang out, so they can't be that much of friends.
CD's his new best friend.
That's right, because he moved his locker next to him. Because that's what friends do. Hey, Big Game, who was your locker mate? Who was next to you? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Warwick Dunn.
Ooh,
Really?
really?
Yeah, Sap had a corner over by himself, and then like Simeon Rice
sense.
was over there. McFarland.
Okay.
They had us all spread out. The D line, we weren't even near each other really in the locker room.
You sitting
man.
next to a running back?
Kind of weird, yeah, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Big guy, little guy. He's like, hey, watch out, Ward. Watch out, man.
Dude,
all right, man. Ward was so funny. He's like, hey, man, I don't know why they always put these big guys next to me. Hey, big dog, keep your stuff clean. Don't mess up my house, is what he used to say all the time, man. But that was up until, my last year he was going to Atlanta, and I'm trying to think who it was that last season. There in Tampa. It was one of my boys, Rabi Abdullah, another running back, but they just put another running back right there, bro. It was crazy. It was like, I think they did like big, small, all the way around the locker room. Because one time I was near Jaquez Green too. So.
Okay, okay, that's funny. Hey, respectfully, Cartier, you don't have to say nothing on here about Tampa Bay. We appreciate you for that. Thank you for taking. They might. But they got old man Tom. But this is Cowboys Cutting Up.
I don't hate on Cartier for coming through and just expressing.
I appreciate you, Cartier. Thank you for coming, bro.
Realizing and recognizing a great football team. That's all.
I don't know about that. About that. You got old man Tom.
And
old man Tom.
That's a lot of old man hating out of you. Yeah.
No Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah, we're missing him. We're missing that idiot.
That's your guy.
What kind of fool cut himself right with that 2 games left? Yeah.
That guy. But I mean, yeah, it's man, it's just gonna be interesting. I make that trade though. I do make that trade. You got to look for someone that's going to be opposite of CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the guys in that receiver room because you got 12 of them on the roster right now.
I mean, but look at the time, Jay Stocks. Look at it. It's as close as you are to training camp. If anything was going to be done by the Cowboys, it would have been done already. So
not necessarily. They could go to training camp and see what it looks like, and they don't like what they see in the first week.
They already know, man. They gonna see what they saw in minicamp and camp. They already know if there's a deficit at the wide receiver spot.
You're right.
Knows there's a deficit at the wide receiver spot,
and they know it.
I'm just saying, I'm entertaining. I'll just call and see what the asking price is. That's the thing. But for the love of God,
I would call today before training camp.
Yeah, but for the love of God, do not.
Oh, now we'll throw in our offensive line.
Man, hey. Tyler Biadasz, Connor McGovern, what you want? What you need? Rebuild around that.
For the love of God, do not call Julio Jones. Do not call him.
You know what? No. That name has crossed my mind a couple of times.
No, injury prone. He's too old now. He ain't gonna.
Julio hadn't been the same in a while.
Again, this is an aging veteran. We already got rid of an quote unquote aging veteran, right? In Amari. Like, what was the reason?
And you got rid of Amari. You got rid of Amari for what, a 6th-round draft pick?
I mean, that was to save money.
Peanuts.
That was
pocket
you save money not to spend it anywhere else, though.
I know. That's why Dallas is a picked up right now.
I don't get that move.
Cowboys and San Antonio Spurs fans have something in common. We have no idea what our teams are doing in this offseason. It's like the owners are smoking joints together. I don't know what's going on. No one understands anything. Whatever. I think they all just get in a room and they're drunk. Oh, let's just trade Amari Cooper for a 6th-round pick. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hell, I would have called and said, "Hey, Baker Mayfield's a backup
pretty good." Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I think I'm gonna do that. Cherry, go sit down somewhere. Go sit down somewhere. Okay, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it leaves a lot to be desired, but it is what it is. If they made that move, it would definitely change the trajectory of that offense for sure. I agree with you guys on that.
I'm not saying they would do it. I'm just saying I wouldn't make the call on Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones.
You know, I wouldn't be mad at you. Hey, why don't you call out there for the Jones family and suggest that trade, Trey?
You know what? At my local radio station here, we actually did that in our sports section. We actually called the Dallas Cowboys and tried to get a hold of Jerry Jones because here in Kerrville, that's where Johnny Manziel's from.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to get Johnny Manziel to the Cowboys, and they just told us to shut up, basically.
As well they should have. As well they should have.
Hey, but Jay, you know what's scary? Jerry Jones really wanted to pull the trigger on Manziel.
Dude, he had the card. He had the card. He was ready to turn the card in. Yeah. And I think they wrestled it from him, tore it up or something. But yeah, that's the story is that the card was actually torn up.
It was. It was written already. It was written.
Yeah. It was written, ready to go. And thank the Lord that someone wrestled it out of his whiskey hand.
His son.
You know, well, yeah. And
Dad, what you doing? Put that down.
What you doing, Stephen? Daddy, don't do it. I mean, it's great that, you know, that's how it went down. And he just ripped it up. But man, I need anyone to just, and you know what? Was this grab loving it? Yep, Keanu Neal. Down for that. Okay. Keanu Neal, grab loving. All right. At some point, the offense has to work and cannot be predictable. And I don't know I know what it's going to take. They just won't do it.
Is Kellen Moore job on the line this year?
It has to be. It has to.
It should be. But they praised him after. They praised him after this season, trying to get him a head coaching job somewhere, and I just don't see it.
I was begging. I was like, "Please take him. Please take him."
Yeah, you're praising him to let them go. Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, this is the guy you want. You should really take him. Take him. Please take him. You know, it's kind of like the old joke that Rodney Dangerfield would say, you know, hey, here's my wife. Take her. Please. You know, take my wife. You know, I mean, there you go. You don't want that dude. You just don't want that dude. You know, this whole agreeing stuff, I don't know about you, but as long as Jerry calling the shots, Cowboy, the sad truth is, the sad part about that's true.
That's right.
That's true.
You just said I don't like this. I agree, but you just agree.
I did agree. It's true. As long as Jerry is there,
I'm telling you,
it won't happen.
Will McClay, GM, and see how much better the Cowboys would be. I'm telling you. Everybody's saying Will McClay.
But now supposedly he was the one behind the Tyler Williams pick, and a lot of people were pissed off about that.
But you know what? Here's what's scary though. What if?
Oh, he's gone.
What?
He's gone.
What if Will McClay actually is the GM, and we're like, oh damn, he sucks. He had 1 year when he flashed in the pan, maybe 2, but he really does suck.
No, you got to go back. He was the one who talked him into getting Dak in the 3rd or 4th round, whatever round that was. Will's behind a lot of the successful picks that they've had. So I think given a chance to really run and operate the team the way he needs to, he could get it done, man. I'm a big Will McClay fan, and I'm not even a Cowboys fan, you know that. But I'm really high on that guy.
I'm a Will McClay. I'm Will McClay. Well, and
robot.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what's going on with Jay Styles, y'all.
Welcome to live.
This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when your kids take all the bandwidth in your house streaming gadgets, movies, and Disney Plus. Exactly. Jay Stoggs is now going to the fishbowl on us.
Okay, well, he's frozen.
But Trey, while he's frozen, I will answer your question to where I believe this should be a make it or break a year for Kellen Moore because of the weapons that the Cowboys have had in the past, they haven't utilized anything to make themselves better. You know what I mean? So it's like, how many times or how many chances are you going to get? We know that window of opportunity in the NFL is small. If you don't believe me, look at Kansas City. They may never get back to where they were before.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Every year you hear somebody in Tampa, they went 1-2 years ago. Last year they got knocked out. The uncertainty of what's going to happen this year, having your quarterback just that much older, you never know. You never know if you're going to get back to that point, and at what point in time does Dallas start making plays and calling shots that's going to help them be a winning football team, opposed to just taking, no chances or not laying on the line and losing. Like, there's too many excuses, and get out of what you believe. Like, oh, I think we can pass. I hate when I see coordinators going to, well, my system works. You got to do what's best for the personnel on your team. Exactly. And they need to get back to some old school football and running the ball.
Hey, we're going with a agree segment again, because I totally agree with that. Because this had make it or break it for Collins, third year, and it's too predictable, and you need to change things up. If he doesn't do it this year, I mean, for some reason, I don't know how the Dallas Cowboys managed the most yards and most points, whatever the case may be. I still don't understand it, because there were some games we lost. We didn't even score a touchdown into like a couple games, and it's just too predictable and everything like that. And like you said, a good offensive coordinator adapts to what their team is and what exactly what is going to make them great. And you totally called it.
Yeah.
But going back to Oxnard, I just think we need to get Freddie on the phone or someone. We need to go to Dallas Cowboy training camp. We need to get credentials.
There you go.
They need us down there.
Yeah. Someone needs to go out there and check that out. Hey, so Cartier had a question for you. And since you're a bigger Cowboys fan than me, man, who was the best Cowboys coach ever, you think, Trey?
Oh, Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy, by far?
Well, what he did, he came from the University of Miami, a collegiate program, winning national titles. And then he comes to a Dallas Cowboy team who only won one game. And he won basically 3 Super Bowls. I'm giving a third one to him because Barry Switzer had nothing to do with that. It was all Jimmy.
Right.
I mean, people are going to say Tom Landry. I'm sorry, I'm young. I never saw Tom Landry really coach any. I saw Jimmy Johnson, and that's who I fell in love with. Love of God. Jerry Jones, can you please just swallow your pride and let this guy in your freaking Ring of Honor? These are
man, I still can't believe that he is not in the Cowboys Ring of Honor for everything he's done.
And apparently they buried the hatchet. They buried the hatchet on national TV. Said he will be in the Ring of Honor. And apparently he's not.
Maybe he does it this year.
No, he already said there's no news on the Ring of Honor. There's no news on it. So no, he doesn't plan on it. He does.
He's gonna have to get over that one day at some point in time and get it figured out.
Maybe that's the curse of the Dallas Cowboys.
Really? You think all the wrongdoing of
Jerry Jones?
Oh, wow.
Well, think about it. I mean, we've only won 1 Super Bowl, and that was with Jimmy Johnson's players. And after that, we've had Dave Campo. We had, I don't even remember who all we had. It was Jason Garrett, Wade Phillips. Horrible, man. My God, horrible coaches.
Yeah.
So I think it was Jimmy Johnson.
Dave Campo.
God.
That still makes me laugh right there. That Campo was a coach.
Yeah. Tom Landry. I know a lot of older people who are watching the show are going to be like, "Yeah, it was Tom Landry." I think it, for me personally, it's Jimmy Johnson.
It's hard to argue Jimmy though. Jimmy was a staple and solid piece to the Cowboys' success for the modern era. What people know, Tom Landry was a great coach, but that was a very, very, very long time ago. I mean, even to where I don't even really remember. I remember seeing him as a little kid, but not to the extent to where I was too young to really even understand him being fired because he was part of the old regime when Jerry bought the team and took over, and all the complexity of it. So, hey, Cartier, if you're gonna ask me best coach in Buccaneers history, the only one I know is Tony Dungy.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
By far, because we all know John Gruden won that first championship with Coach Dungy's defense and team, and he put a couple other pieces on offense. Gruden did, but that defense was the whole reason that he was able to really get over the hump, and we were really close to getting over that hump before John Gruden came in there. But yeah, man, best coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm gonna say.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what I was fixing to say. That's exactly what I was fixing to say.
And and you can and everybody got their opinion, man. You like Chucky and what he did. That's cool. I am not mad at you for that at all. But it's just what I think and what I'll always believe and what I've said that all along. Gruden's a different kind of dude.
Yeah, was Gruden over? I know this is Cowboys cutting up, but whatever. We have like 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we're good.
Is Gruden like the most overrated coach in modern NFL?
I don't know about most, but I think he's up there. I think he's one of those guys that got a reputation for I get here early, I stay late, I put all these hours in, I do all this work.
Right.
He had the success the 1 year, but you look at his record after the Super Bowl, and it was nothing stellar at all. So
Dungy was too soft, bull crap. Dungy made men out of men, like boys out of men. Dungy, if you go talk to every one of Dungy's players, they respect the hell out of Coach Dungy.
I mean, you talking to one, like I tell everybody, you talking to one right now, man. I tell everybody, I still get a Christmas card. He changed my life forever, not just as a football player, but he taught me how to be a man and a father. And this is my whole thing. Dungy comes off as soft because of his persona, but Dungy had pit bulls on the squad. Yes. So if you got people that's chewing into your players and letting them have it, you respect him. And that's why he had the success he had when he went to Indianapolis too. Tony just got sick of the politics of football, and that's what he'll straight up tell you, man. It just the politics of football made him not love, what it was. He really was an X's and O's guy. He really was a person guy.
I'm sorry, I don't care what Warren Sapp says about the Dallas. I have nothing. Warren Sapp, one of the best defensive linemen ever. Whatever. I don't care about his sense. To me personally, just watching from the sidelines, the way I suppose Peyton Manning talk about him, yourself talk about him. Every player that I know just respects the hell out of Tony J. He had some fight in him. If he was soft, he went and won that champion. Basically, they won that championship with defense. With that defense stepped up in the playoffs when people forget about that Peyton Manning didn't have the best of playoffs whenever they won that Super Bowl.
Yeah, they made a crazy run on
defense. Stepped up and they made stop after stop and they helped. So Tony Dungy did have some fight in him. And like you said, the politics of the game, everything. Tony Dungy is exactly where he needs to be right now. And what a great man he is.
Speaking of politics, do you think Dak Prescott is getting an unfair portrayal in the media right now, man? I know everyone on First Take. All right, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But quick, is Dak Prescott getting an unfair shake in the media right now? Because every morning, like on First Take, on Get Up, he was on a Do or Die. Put up or shut up segment the other day, or this do or die time for Dak Prescott. I want to see him do well. I still think that coming off that gruesome injury last year was too quick to judge him on. I think this year is really going to be the catalyst of how Dak Prescott should be judged on what he does.
I think if he didn't get injured in the third game against the New York Giants, because he was having I know it was only 3 games, but he was having a hell of a season. He was basically keeping the Cowboys in every single football game there was.
Right.
He was putting up MVP godlike numbers. And then last year he was putting up good numbers in the first half, but then I know he got injured again with that ankle, but at the same time, I mean, we got to stop making excuses. I mean, the first year was basically Ezekiel Elliott in the running game with that offensive line. That's exactly what it was. Then the second year, Ezekiel Elliott suspension, blah, 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 this and that. Third year, Dak gets hurt. Fourth year, we see what happens. This year's the year. It doesn't matter if he gets injured or not. Honestly, I think it equals out because if you listen to the local Dallas Cowboy, I think they don't give him any criticism whatsoever. They always make excuses for Dak. Dak's never Dak's fault. It's always someone else's. But if you actually watch it, and I love Dak Prescott. So, Dak, if you're watching this, don't hate me. Don't unblock me on Twitter. Don't do any of this. I really do love you. But you need to start throwing people open. I mean, you cannot throw people open to save your life. That's why you don't throw much interception because you don't trust those tight-knit throws that you need. It's like the Peyton Mannings of the world, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers. You wait for the guy to be 5 yards wide open. You don't get that in the NFL, especially with the lack of time that the offensive line is giving you.
Yeah.
And so he needs to throw people open this year, and I think he's going to do that. He's going to have to do that this year because his running game is going to have to be implemented in this as well this year.
Big time. Big time.
They're going to have to respect his run because last year a lot of people were like, oh, you ain't going to run it because you're too worried about your
right. That would change the game a lot. But this is the whole thing. Like I asked the question, and first I was like, man, they giving Dak a hard time. But at the same time, we know at the quarterback position, when you ask for the big bucks and then you come out and you fall short in your play, the media is going to let you have it. And so many people hate on the Dallas Cowboys to where they're going to always let Dak Prescott have it when they can, or anybody on the Cowboys roster for that matter.
Yeah.
It's America's team, but it's media's nightmare. I think the sports world loves to bash the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, yeah, they do, and that's why you really can't put much emphasis on the ESPNs of the world. Stephen A. Smith, we all know he hates the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
All the first take people are the New York Giants fans or Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Stephen A. Smith, Molly Collins, a New York Giants fan. They all hate the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone in the Sports Center hates the Dallas Cowboys. So they're going to not give their fair sense or the fair shake that Dak should get sometimes. But I mean, if you just turn off and just rewatch the games from last year, especially that playoff game, Dallas had the number one offense all season long. They only scored 7 points going into that fourth quarter. 7 points with that high-powered offensive talent that you had. You only scored 7 points. So I think it's fair to they're giving that criticism because he is making over $40 million a year. And the Dallas Cowboys are stupid for not signing for $30 million, but that's another time for a different story. But I just think that the Dallas Cowboys fans and critics don't give them any blame, and the media gives them all the blame. Like, you know what I mean? So it kind of evens out a little bit. But if you're making let's just put it this way: if Tony Romo was in this situation, Tony Romo would be ridiculed right now by it. They would tear him to shit. You make him $40 million a year and you haven't done this or that or the other, which I still contend. If you put Tony Romo in with the great offensive line that he had, if he doesn't get hurt in 2016 or 18, I guarantee you that the Dallas Cowboys probably would have gone all the way.
That changes things a lot. I can say that because they were getting close with Romo at the helm and it just fell short, and then that injury didn't help. And the back was never the same again.
But Dak has to show up this year. It's his fifth year. There's no more excuses. You make all that money. You wear that star in that helmet. You're going to get. You know it. You know what's going to happen.
It's make or break, I think, too, man.
And there's no excuses for him this year. You have Tom Brady, who's 45. And no offense, I love Tom Brady. I think he's a GOAT. He always proves me wrong. I'm never going to doubt that man ever again. I love Tom Brady until he proves me wrong. But he is older. He's 45. He already had 1 foot out of retirement. It's hard. I don't know. His full mental is still with the winning the Super Bowl, playing golf tournaments here and there, doing all the social media stuff. So I really don't know how much fight I know he has fight, but I don't know if he still has a fight that he had in New England and stuff like that. Also, and then the only Aaron Rodgers is another year older, but he lost his start. He has no great wide receivers as well. So the NFC is wide open for Dak Prescott this year, and there's no excuses not to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFC at all this year, because we all know the AFC is jam-packed, but the NFC is between him and Jared Goff, and if he doesn't level up with not Jared Goff, sorry.
I know you're talking about Stafford, who I'm still not sold on.
I'm not either.
I think he had a rabbit's foot in his football pants last year.
If you go back to that championship game, if that 49er, it was 9 minutes left, intercepts that ball, it's lights out. It's game over.
Yeah, he did drop it.
Game over. He dropped the interception. He dropped
the pick. You're right.
But then Matthew Stafford, you give him that little line. He took Cooper Kupp was basically the MVP of that. I mean, Cooper Kupp, no one can guard that man. So
he was like the whole playoff MVP.
But I think this year, Dak deserves all the criticism in the world whenever he plays bad, and that should be the case. But I just don't pay attention to ESPN or especially like Skip Bayless, who loves Dak Prescott, never Dak Prescott's fault, this, that, and the other. It's like there's no fair shake in the media like there is with like Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or whatever the case may be. But I think this year Dak Prescott is going to should get a lot of blame on both sides if the Cowboys don't live up to what they should be living up to.
Gotcha. Well, man, it's been another great hour of Cowboys cutting up. I'm glad I was able to get on here tonight. Last week, the son and family had me pulled away doing a whole bunch of stuff. So the Buff Nerd had to restart his computer.
It's minicamp. It's voluntary minicamp, baby. We don't need you. Right. We need you in about a month, 3 weeks.
There you go.
3 weeks of training camp.
It's coming up, man. Hey, we can see it. Mark the calendars. I can see it. I feel it coming.
So what do y'all got on your show this week? What y'all talking about?
Well, honestly, to be real, we're gonna have to. We got a pretty good old hell nah coming. Don't want to really give that away, but there's a lot going on in the news that made us scratch our heads. 4 Downs is probably gonna touch on some NBA free agency since all that's happening, and then
baby.
Yeah, then just then what's going on, and it's gonna be some NFL stuff. I'm gonna find to throw in there as well. Then we got our top 5. I don't know what our top 5 is gonna be this week.
Cool.
Got to work on that between tonight and tomorrow. But we're gonna throw that wrinkle out there and try to have everybody thinking and interacting and getting it. But I'll post that teaser tomorrow afternoon sometime, a couple hours before we go on tomorrow, 8:00.
Also, on Cutting Up Cowboys, I'm going to start reaching out to these people to interview. So we ain't just going to see us, our ugly faces.
There you go.
We're going to get some pretty looking people on here that know more than we do. But
yeah, whether it's a live interview or if we got to record it and bring it on, we'll do that. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, man. To bring on those other people from a different perspective of Cowboys fans around the world and around Texas and who follow them and cover them a little bit. Yeah, that's a great idea, man. Great idea. Hey, so for Trey Collins, I'm Big Game James. You have been watching Cowboys Cutting Up. We'll catch y'all next week.
Peace.